Welcome back to another episode of Valuable Coins, where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering the most valuable and unique coins in the market today. If you're a coin enthusiast, collector, or simply interested in the incredible value of rare coins, you're in the right place. In today's video, we will explore two of the most fascinating and expensive United States coins currently circulating the auction market. First up, the 1986 Washington quarter with a large date variety, minted at Philadelphia, marked with P. This quarter is a silver collectible in fine condition. We'll explore what makes this coin unique, what fine condition means, and what you can expect it to be worth in today's market. Let's get into it. The Washington quarter has been a symbol of American coinage since 1932. While most 1986 quarters found in circulation are clad coins made primarily of copper and nickel, this special silver version was struck for collectors, containing 90% silver and 10% copper. This quarter features the large date variety, a subtle but important difference for collectors. The P mint mark indicates it was minted in Philadelphia. This silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams and holds significant intrinsic value because of its silver content. Now, what does fine condition mean for this coin? In coin grading, fine indicates moderate wear with some details worn flat, but the major features are still visible. You might see wear on the high points of Washington's portrait and the eagle on the reverse, but the design is clear and identifiable. In comparison to lower-grade circulated coins, a fine coin still retains a respectable amount of detail and is much more desirable. However, it's not as pristine as higher-grade coins like extra fine or uncirculated. Because this 1986 quarter is made with 90% silver, its base value is tied to the current silver price. Today, the melt value generally ranges between $5 and $7 depending on silver market fluctuations. In fine condition, collectors might pay a small premium over the melt value, with typical prices falling between $7 and $12. The large date variety can also increase interest slightly, though this depends on the buyer. To preserve coins like this, store them in protective holders, avoid cleaning or harsh chemicals, and handle them minimally to maintain their condition and value. Silver Washington quarters from the 1980s, including varieties like the large date, bridge the gap between numismatics and precious metals investment. They represent a unique era of collector-focused minting. In summary, the 1986 Washington quarter, large date, with a P mint mark in fine condition is a collectible 90% silver coin. Its value today is mostly tied to silver prices, ranging roughly from $5 to $12, depending on condition and collector demand. Next up, the 1983 Washington quarter, with a large date, minted in Philadelphia, marked with a P. This silver quarter is in good condition, and we'll discuss what that means, what makes this coin special, and its value in today's market. Let's dive in. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, featuring the profile of George Washington. The 1983 silver quarter, however, is a special collector's coin made with 90% silver and 10% copper. Unlike the more common copper-nickel-clad quarters, these silver versions were struck for collectors. This coin features the large date variety, a slight but notable difference in the size of the date digits. The P mint mark indicates it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Weighing about 6.25 grams, the 1983 silver quarter holds value not just as currency, but for its silver content. So what does good condition mean in coin grading? A coin in good condition shows heavy wear with many details worn smooth, but the date, major design elements, and mint mark remain visible. For this 1983 quarter, you'll see noticeable wear on Washington's profile and the eagle on the back, but the coin is still identifiable and collectible. Compared to higher grades like fine or extra fine, a good condition coin is more worn but still holds value, especially since it's made of 90% silver. This condition is typical for coins that have been well circulated but not damaged. Because this quarter is 90% silver, its minimum value is closely tied to the current silver price. Today, the melt value generally ranges between $40 and $60. In good condition, this coin usually doesn't carry much premium over melt value since the wear is significant. However, collectors who want silver quarters for their collections still find it attractive, so it often sells in the $50 to $70 range depending on demand. If you want to protect your silver coins, store them in holders or albums, avoid harsh cleaning, and keep them in a dry environment. Even coins in good condition benefit from proper care to prevent further damage. Silver Washington quarters from the 1980s are unique because they weren't meant for circulation, but to appeal to collectors and investors. They bridge the gap between precious metals and numismatics, making them popular for both reasons. Next up today, we're examining a unique coin, the 1967 Washington quarter with the large date variety, without a mint mark, and in what collectors would call dirty condition. We'll explore what makes this coin special, the significance of the large date and no mint mark, how condition affects value, and what this coin is worth today. Let's get started. The Washington quarter has been a beloved part of American coinage since 1932. However, unlike most quarters you'll find from this period, the 1967 quarter is a special story because it was actually not struck in silver for general circulation. First, let's clear up an important fact. 1967 quarters were not minted in silver at all. Starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to copper nickel-clad coins for all quarters in general circulation, ending the silver quarter era, which lasted from 1932 to 1964. But you might be wondering, what about the large date variety? The term large date refers to the size and style of the numerals in the date. Some collectors look out for these subtle variations, especially in older coins. But in the case of 1967 quarters, the large date is mostly a curiosity rather than a rare error. Regarding the mint mark, 1967 quarters typically do not have one because the Philadelphia Mint did not add the P mint mark to quarters at that time. So, the absence of a mint mark on a 1967 quarter is normal and expected. Now, when we say dirty condition, we're referring to coins that show significant surface grime, corrosion, or discoloration, often making details hard to see. While cleaning coins is generally discouraged among collectors, the presence of dirt or toning doesn't necessarily destroy value, but it can affect the coin's grade and appeal. It's important to note that the 1967 quarter is a copper nickel-clad coin, not silver. Its face value is 25 cents, but since it contains no silver, it holds minimal intrinsic metal value. So, what is the 1967 Washington quarter without a mint mark and dirty condition worth today? Because it contains no silver and is commonly found, its value is close to face value, about 25 cents, or sometimes slightly more if sold in bulk. Dirty condition doesn't add value here. In fact, collectors prefer cleaner coins or those with original luster. However, if you're simply looking for a quarter to spend, this one fits the bill. If you want to improve the appearance of a dirty quarter, remember, cleaning coins improperly can reduce their value if they are collectible. For common coins like this, gentle cleaning might be okay, but it's best to handle coins carefully and store them properly to avoid future damage. To summarize, the 1967 Washington quarter with a large date and no mint mark is a copper nickel-clad coin, not silver. In dirty condition, its value is close to face value, around 25 cents. It's common, and while it's a nice piece of history, it doesn't carry significant collector value. Next up, the 1984 Washington quarter with a large date, minted at Philadelphia with the P mint mark, in fine condition. We'll explore what makes this coin special, the significance of the large date, what fine condition means for collectors, and its current value in today's market. Let's dive in. The Washington quarter has been an iconic coin in American history since 1932. While the standard quarters in circulation today are clad with copper and nickel, there are special collector's editions like the 1984 silver quarter. We're examining made with 90% silver and 10% copper. This 1984 quarter features the large date variety, a subtle but distinct difference in the style and size of the numerals on the date. The P mint mark tells us it was minted in Philadelphia. These silver quarters were struck mainly for collectors, not for general circulation. In coin grading terms, fine condition indicates moderate wear. On this quarter, you'll notice some flattening on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. But all major details remain clear and easily recognizable. Fine condition coins have more character than heavily worn ones and are more desirable to collectors. One of the most important factors in valuing this coin is its silver content. Being 90% silver, this quarter contains about 0.1808 troy ounces of silver, giving it intrinsic value based on the current silver market price. As of today, with silver prices fluctuating around $25 per ounce, the melt value of this quarter ranges roughly between $4 and $6. However, because it's a collector's item in fine condition and features the large date variety, it can command a premium above melt value. In fine condition, most 1984 silver quarters with a P mint mark and large date sell between $7 and $12 depending on the buyer and marketplace. The condition and variety add that collectible value above just the silver content. To keep your silver quarters in good condition, always store them in protective holders or coin albums. Avoid cleaning them with harsh chemicals and handle them by the edges to prevent damage. Next up, we're diving into a coin with a bit of mystery and special significance, the 1965 Washington quarter, with a large date, no mint mark, and in good condition. We'll talk about what makes this coin unique, the famous large date detail, what good condition means, and importantly, what this coin is worth on today's market. Let's get started. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, honoring our first president, George Washington. However, the year 1965 marks a turning point in U.S. coin history. Why? Because starting in 1965, quarters were no longer struck in silver for general circulation. Now, about the large date, this term refers to the style and size of the numbers in the date on the coin. While more relevant in other years, the large date in 1965 is more of a collector's note, since all quarters from 1965 onward were copper nickel-clad, not silver. You might notice this quarter has no mint mark. That's because the Philadelphia Mint did not place a P mint mark on quarters during this period. So, the absence of a mint mark is standard and expected. When we say good condition, it means the coin shows heavy wear from circulation. Most design details are worn smooth, but the date and major features like Washington's profile remain visible. It's a lower grade, but still collectible for many enthusiasts. A crucial fact for collectors: the 1965 Washington quarter is not silver. After 1964, quarters were minted with a copper nickel-clad composition, meaning a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy. So, what is the 1965 Washington quarter worth today in good condition? Since it contains no silver, its value is mostly face value, about 25 cents. You won't find a silver premium here, but it's still a nice piece of history and circulation coinage. Because these coins are very common and don't contain precious metals, their value rarely exceeds face value, even in better conditions. Collectors typically look for older silver quarters or rare mint errors for significant premiums. To preserve your coins, keep them stored in a dry, cool place and avoid cleaning them aggressively, as that can cause damage and reduce any collector interest. To wrap it up, the 1965 Washington quarter, large date, no mint mark. In good condition is a copper nickel-clad coin worth approximately face value 25 cents. It's a common coin but a neat part of our numismatic history. Do you have any 1965 quarters in your collection? Now you know what to look for in their value. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more coin collecting insights. Share your questions or coin stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.